The sun was sinking behind the mountains when Jake Ironheart, Dalton and his crew roared down the dusty main road of Ridgefield. The thunder of engines echoed through the small town. A warning, a promise and a presence all in one. The Iron Wolves, as they were known, weren't just any group of bikers. They were a brotherhood, men who had seen too much of the world, who had lost, fought, and survived. They didn't start trouble, but they sure knew how to end it. Jake, the leader, was a man in his late 30s, broad shoulders, calm eyes, and a face that told stories of both pain and peace. He had served his country, lost friends, and then found purpose in helping people who couldn't help themselves. The Iron Wolves had a reputation, feared by bullies, respected by the kind, and loved by those who had ever seen their hidden kindness. As the crew parked their bikes outside Maggie's diner, the usual crowd turned heads. Jake pulled off his helmet and smiled at Maggie, the diner owner, who waved from behind the counter. The smell of coffee and fresh pie filled the air. It was another quiet evening, until they heard it. A sound cut through the laughter, small, shaky, desperate. "Help, please, help!" Jake turned. Standing near the corner, in the shadow of a street lamp, was a little boy, no older than 6. His clothes were torn, his face streaked with dirt, and tears ran down his cheeks. He clutched a small stuffed bear to his chest as he cried out again. He hit my grandma." The world went silent. Even the engines seemed to hum softer. Jake stepped forward immediately, his boots crunching against the gravel. "Hey, buddy," he said gently, kneeling down to the child's eye level. "What's your name?" Timmy," the boy stammered. "He hit my grandma. She's hurt bad." "Please help her." Jake's jaw tightened. He glanced back at his crew. They were already alert, faces hardening. "Where is she, Timmy?" Jake asked. The boy pointed down a narrow dirt road that led out of town. "All right," Jake said, firmly standing. "You're safe now. We'll help your grandma." Without another word, the Iron Wolves mounted their bikes, the engines roaring back to life like thunder ready to strike. Timmy climbed onto Jake's bike, clutching him tightly as they sped down the dirt road, the wind whipping through their faces. The house came into view, a small, weathered wooden cottage at the edge of town. The front door hung off its hinges, one window shattered. Jake killed the engine and leapt off, rushing inside. "Grandma!" Timmy cried out, running ahead. In the dim light of a flickering lamp, an elderly woman lay on the floor, her arm bruised, her face pale but conscious. "Timmy," she whispered weakly, relief washing over her. Jake knelt beside her, checking her pulse. "Ma'am, don't try to move. We'll get you help." "Who did this?" One of the bikers growled from behind him. The old woman's lips trembled. "It was the landlord, Mr. Burke. He came demanding rent I already paid. When I told him I had the receipt, he hit me. Then he took the money and left." Jake's eyes darkened. "He hit you and stole from you?" The woman nodded faintly. Timmy clutched his grandmother's hand, crying quietly. "He said she was lying. He hurt her and left." Jake looked at his crew. They didn't need orders. They already knew what was next. "Brick, get Doc over here," Jake commanded. "Ghost, you and Razor go find Burke." The men nodded and split off immediately, their bikes disappearing into the night like shadows. Jake stayed behind, gently helping the old woman sit up. "Ma'am," he said softly, "you don't need to worry anymore. No one's going to hurt you again." She looked at him with weary eyes. Why are you helping us? You don't even know us." Jake smiled faintly. "Because someone once helped me when no one else would. We look out for the ones who can't fight back." An hour later, the sound of engines returned. Ghost and Razor pulled up, faces grim. "We found him," Razor said flatly. "Drunk at the bar on Maple Street. He's bragging about teaching an old lady a lesson." Jake's knuckles tightened. "He's still there?" "Yeah," Ghost said. "Didn't even leave. Man's got no idea what's coming." Jake stood slowly, the night air cold but his blood hot. Let's make sure he understands what kind of lesson he just signed up for. The Iron Wolves parked their bikes right outside the bar, a deliberate move. Heads turned inside as the heavy boots echoed against the wooden floor. Burke, a heavy-set man with a scruffy beard, sat at the counter with a half-empty bottle in hand. Jake walked right up to him. "Burke," he said calmly, The man looked up, sneering. Who's asking? Jake leaned closer. The man whose friend you just hit. An old lady, ring a bell. Burke frowned. That old hag? She owed me money. Before he could finish, Jake slammed his hand on the counter so hard the bottle shattered. You hit a woman. You stole from her. And you think that's okay? Burke stumbled back, his confidence faltering. What's it to you? Jake's crew surrounded him, silent, their presence enough to make the other patrons scatter. Jake grabbed Burke by the collar and pulled him close. You're going to give that money back. Every cent. And then you're going to walk to her door and apologize like a man. You got that? Burke swallowed hard. You can't tell me what to... Jake's eyes burned like steel. Try me! The room went still. Burke's bravado melted into fear. Finally, he nodded quickly. Okay, I'll give it back. Good, Jake said, releasing him. Because if you don't, the Iron Wolves will be parked right outside your door every single day. Later that night, Burke stood trembling at the old woman's doorstep, holding a small envelope of cash. Timmy glared up at him, clutching his grandma's hand. I'm sorry, Burke stammered. For what I did. The old woman took the envelope silently. I forgive you, she said softly, but don't ever come near us again. Burke nodded and stumbled away, his pride crushed. Jake watched from a distance, arms crossed, the faintest smile on his lips. He turned to his crew. Let's roll. As the bikes roared back into the night, Timmy ran after them. Mister, wait! Jake stopped and turned. Thank you, the boy said, his voice small but strong. You're heroes. Jake crouched and ruffled his hair. Nah, kid. We're just men who remember what it's like to be hurt, and how good it feels when someone finally stands up for you. He climbed back on his bike, engines growling, and as they disappeared into the night, Timmy whispered to his grandma, They're angels with engines.